Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Catching up with Peter Negroponte.
joined by Peter Negroponte from Guerilla Toss today. It's been about a little over a year. I think it was January 8th we talked last year.
Oh, wow.
And you guys had a huge 2023. Why don't we just get into, you had a really interesting tour at the end of the year there with Karina Rykman. You want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about how that came to be and how it was for you?
How did that come to be? It came to be because I've always been a fan of her since she kind of just stumbled into everything all of a sudden. I don't know. I remember reading about her on on like a Phish message board or something, or maybe I started following her Instagram and I was like, whoa, she's cool. She's a great musician. She just has a good energy, and she's part of the jam scene, which is, mostly dudes, unfortunately. So it's nice to have a different energy in there. And so I was like a fan, and I was following her and checking her stuff out. And we have some sort of mutual friends in the city. Maybe like the guy Abe that we did our last record with. He's friends with her, and we somehow established a connection, and we just sort of like hung out a few times, and then it was, she was like, we should form an alliance and play some shows together, and so we did it, and it was awesome. Yeah, she's great, and Chris, her drummer, and Adam, her guitar player. They're just like an awesome crew, and they're very like, they're in Brooklyn. They're very kind of like, they got a cool Brooklyn vibe, but they're also, in the jam scene. But it's like, to me, it's some of the more currently like unique jam music. It doesn't. I think it's pretty unique because it's not like jammy in the most. Like they jam out, but it's like, I don't know, they had like do a pop thing. It's kind of electronic. It's kind of like dance, and it has like even like some punk elements. It has some dance punk stuff, and it's pretty high energy music. It's pretty relentless, which is cool. So that's Karina. I think she's awesome. I'm happy to be friends with her and that whole crew.
It seemed like a great thing in as much as little cross pollination there.
Yeah.
Jam band people might not know about you. Your crowd might not know about her. I felt a good way to spread the word a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good pairing. I think it worked for the most part. And, I think that she is going to be, I think she's famous, and she's going to be even more famous. And I'm just rooting for her because she's so
Yeah.
damn cool.
I
Yeah.
got to hear some of your LA set. Woman Maggie recorded it on
Oh,
her
yeah.
phone, and she sent it to me. She's like, "I did this just for you because I know you love these guys." So
Cool.
that was fantastic. So let me ask you about the set list. They changed every night. You guys were mixing it up night to night.
Yes, we were mixing it up on that tour. Sometimes like the set lengths changed a little bit, or it's like if I was trying to think like cities that we had played in the last year. If there's reoccurring audience members, which is always sort of the goal, we try to play like a pretty different set, and definitely throw in newer songs or songs that we didn't play last time. So we were mixing up the sets pretty much every night. But it's usually the few anchor songs and then like a few adjustments around there. And then by the end of the tour, we're playing kind of like a pretty similar set because we figure out the one that's kind of like we feel works the best or something.
Right.
Uh,
How important is the crowd to you when you're playing?
how important is the crowd?
Like feeding back, do you feed back off them a lot, or is it something you tend to block out and you're just in the moment of the music on stage?
No, I mean, I think the crowd is the most important part. I mean, yeah, it's like we kind of vibe off the crowd. I'm a little like we were talking about this recently with when we were in the van or something. I'm pretty shy. Like I don't look into the audience. Like I think I want to think I feel the audience, and like you can't help but, I don't know, feel the energy of the room and at least see sort of, the way the room is moving, even if you're not looking at people individually. But I'm a little shy. I kind of keep like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, kind of at the
Right.
drums, and maybe my eyes are closed. And I was talking to Zach, our bass player, and he really he likes to look at people and see who's vibing and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we definitely, I know Cassie feeds off the energy. She's like gets in people's faces and stuff. She's pretty like punk rock like that. Uh, yeah, I mean, the audience is like, that's all that matters in the end.
Yeah.
You get it's for them, really. People like
Yeah.
to be like, who cares what other people think? And it's like that. All I care about is what other people think. I want them to like it. It's like,
Exactly.
that's all that matters.
Right.
In this
Yeah.
profession, I guess
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm too cool. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it
it's all
does.
that matters to me. I don't know. I feel
Um,
like Rick Rubin disagrees. He's like, it only matters if you like it, and I'm like, well, yes, yes, you should like it too, but if anyway, yeah,
right.
the
You want
audience
it
is
to be
important.
accessible. You want it to be
Yeah.
accessible. My
Yes, that's
I took a couple people with me to Denver night before Dick's. You guys had a great show at the Lava Lounge,
yeah.
and brought a few of my Wook Plus buddies. And uh, one of them said to me, Cassie reminded him of what's his name from Jane's Addiction, because she had her foot up on the
Perry.
monitor and was,
Yeah,
yeah,
Perry
Perry Farrell,
Farrell.
right?
Yeah,
Perry
yeah,
Farrell. Right.
yeah.
She was
He's
striking the
great.
pose up there, and she does. She looks so good when she does that. She's so powerful with that.
Yeah, and that's a cool venue. We've played there a few times because they really have like these monitors that are sort of elevated, and you can really get up on there and like get in people's faces. So, but yeah, we love Jane's Addiction. We love Perry Farrell. Yeah, I mean he's a legend. I was watching a video of maybe it wasn't Jane's Addiction. It was Porno for Pyros of them playing at like Woodstock or something. I was watching that recently for some reason. It popped up and it was so good. And like, yeah, he was down and like he got off the stage and he was like up in in the crowd or something, just yelling at people in their face. It was awesome. So that's a
Um,
good. Your buddy's right. Yeah.
I think Porno for Pyros is going to tour, or they recorded an album or something recently.
Yeah, I saw that, but then they got canceled,
Oh,
and then they rescheduled it. But yeah, I don't know. When things
so
get
it's not
canceled,
happening.
yeah, who knows what it means ever? It's the state
It's
of the
like
industry.
the Rage tour fell apart for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
he hurt himself, and then it got canceled, and then they were like, "We're never going to tour."
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the music industry sucks right now. If you haven't figured that out, it's a complete, and we're like bottom feeders of what's left of the industry. But it's weird. It's weird seeing everybody cancel their tours, and then like I even saw something of like the Who. The Who was like, "We're not going to tour the States again. It's like we don't make money," or they were like, "It's a financial risk," and I was like, even for the fucking Who, I was like, "Geez,
Well,
man."
the vast expanse that you have to ship all this equipment from
Yeah,
Denver to California, and or from the East Coast to Denver's 33 hours of driving.
yeah. Yeah, we
So
flew in for that one, but I mean that gig wasn't that was not a practical, big bucks gig. We kind of did
right.
that for fun and to have a good weekend, and it was successful. It was a great show. I'm really glad you made it out to that.
How did you set up? Did you just fly with like you rented gear? How did you do the tour in California? I guess you brought some gear with you. Did you bring all your drums?
No, so for California, Karina was awesome. So they rented a backline. They were they were kind of headlining the shows, and they rented a backline, and we were like, "Can we just bum off your backline?" And they were like, "Of course." They were really sweet about it. And we still have to bring a fair amount of stuff, but it's all like we have it down to a science now. Like we definitely fly in for gigs and festivals, and it's a total pain in the ass, but it's also like we got it locked in. Like I bring my snare, my cymbals. We got to bring our synth setup, which is pretty specific. We bring our guitars and basses, and then our pedal boards. Other than that, we use the backline amps and like the backline drums. And in Karina's case, we used her stuff. In Denver, we rented some stuff. It's a long story that has like a weird ending, but the show itself was great. We ended up renting some gear for that. Yeah.
Oh, you broke some of the gear you rented?
No, we didn't break the
Oh,
gear, but it was just that was a bit of a the Denver show was sort of a showcase. We were playing for some people and it didn't work out. So that's the story.
Uh,
It's,
oh, okay.
yeah, it's all good though. It was the show itself was awesome. I thought,
Oh, it was incredible, incredible. So
thanks.
much energy. People were my friends were all laughing at me because Matt, my friend Matt came, who I introduced you to, and
He's a legend. Oh my God.
yeah, we were standing there talking, and they were like, "You two are chompers. The two of
Yeah.
you were chompers." I was
That's
like,
amazing. You guys were chomping at the show. Please, I welcome chompers. The music's fucking loud. You can chomp over it.
right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was
Did
cool. Yeah, thanks for bringing Matt. He I think I didn't that weekend was so like overwhelming and awesome. I didn't even process like who Matt was, and then I was like looking him up, and I was like, oh, this guy's like he's a legend. He's Matt Bush,
right,
and he's funny because he's kind of a wook too. Like I don't know if he's gonna see
yeah,
this. Like all respect to him, but he
yeah,
was like rocking a cool crystal and shit. I was like, this guy rules, dude. I was like, this is Bob's manager. I was like, what a fucking awesome dude. And then I was reading it, like, or I watched that he was on your show. I didn't realize
yeah.
that, and I watched or I heard it or listened to it or something, and he was like writing the set lists and stuff for Dead and
The
Co.
Dead and Company, yeah,
Legend. He
fascinating.
goes everywhere with Bobby. He's like
Yes,
working
he
out with
does.
him and shit. Yeah.
He was in Mexico. He was in Mexico with the thing they just did. Did Cassie bring her violin out to the West Coast?
She did not. It's been a minute since she's busted out the violin. I'd like to see it come back. We keep talking about it, and it'll be fun to bring that back. It's cool to have. We call it a jam stick,
Mhm.
like not even her violin, but for her to have. She had a little synth set up actually when we did the Denver show, so we could have some more jamming moments because it's a little weird if we're kind of jamming and she's just like dancing there. It's not always weird, but like like we're not really we're kind of a fake jam band. Like we want to be, but we're not, like we don't really like jam that hard. At that show, we kind of did. We stretched out a little bit and we had some improvisation moments. And like within the songs, we're always improvising and fucking around. But so she had her jam stick for that gig. She had like a little synth set up with some pedals. And I'd like to see the violin come back though, for sure.
It was always weird seeing like P-Funk when they do a 12-minute Maggot Brain and you had six singers just standing on the stage while,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And then even like George Clinton would just stand there kind of doing this, right? Like,
exactly. Or if he did, it was a chant thing and he was just talking over it. It wasn't, it was
yeah.
more, I guess, akin to like early hip hop with the call and response thing they were working,
Yeah, they do that. I mean, that band is so like I was just talking about P-Funk with somebody. I mean, I feel like I was talking about. I mean, it's kind of like the best music,
Yeah.
Like I don't believe things are the best or the worst, but that's the best music. It's like it's the realest shit. And I saw some version of P-Funk like in 2004 or 2005. I was like a kid. I was like in high school, and they played in Brooklyn, and it was the best show. It was my favorite show I've ever seen.
Right.
And I don't even remember why, but I always think I'm like that's my favorite. That's the best show I ever saw. It was so good, and I just remember feeling like this is back when you could really smoke a lot inside. I think it's different now. And like we were like in a big fancy Brooklyn theater, just chain smoking weed, like clouds, and everyone was just like partying, and it was one of the best shows I ever saw. So
first time I saw him, it was at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall in Baltimore.
Wow.
And people were just half the crowd was like dressed to the nines. They wore their suits, the colored suits and all, and then a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then I saw him again after, and it was like they were sort of touring around a new record that was like very different, and it was great. But that's time I saw them in Brooklyn, it's like, yeah, they didn't stop playing for an hour and a half. All the songs segued. I don't know if they always do that, but all the songs segued. He didn't even come out till the middle of the show. It was like the band played, and then I was a kid, and I was like, which one's George Clinton? And then in the middle, he came out, and I was like, oh, that's the guy.
That's them.
Yeah,
I saw James Brown at the 9:30 Club once.
Wow.
And the first half hour, 45 minutes, they were like, it's the James Brown show. Are you ready for Mr. James Brown? And he came out. He was out there maybe 20 minutes and then left. And then they spent another 25 minutes. You want James Brown back? You want him back? He was on stage maybe 25 minutes out of an hour and a half.
That's amazing. I mean, that's part of that's part of the show, It's like that's part of the performance. And like, and those guys are they're that good and they're that real that like they can just kind of do whatever the fuck they want, and we're gonna love it because it's so good. So anyway, I'm glad that came up. That was a good reference, George Clinton.
Oh,
Anyway.
nice. So what are you guys up to? It was what 2022 that Famously Alive came out, right?
Yeah,
Have
it's
we
been a
been in the
minute.
studio?
No, but we're about to be. And that's all. I feel like last time we did this interview, I was like, we have this cool stuff happening and I can't tell you. And now we're in the same situation and it's the same cool stuff that I don't think I could really say it publicly. I mean, it's pretty cool. You're going to dig it, but I
Right.
don't think I should, I can't spill the beans yet. That's how long this should take. It took a whole year to make this whole thing happen and it's about to
Right.
happen. And we're really nervous and excited, but we're making a new record and it's going to be special. And that's all I'm going to say right now.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I'll tell
So
you in private if you
how
want.
long before we are going to talk about it?
I mean, honestly, dude, like these things take so long. It's like, so we're going to go record soon. And then it always, then the mixing and then you master it. And then before you master it, you go change everything a million times. And then at some point you're like, I don't like it. And then the next moment you're like, this is the best thing ever. And that's the process, and then there's, you go through all that emotional stuff. And then it just takes 6 months for the record to, we're with Sub Pop. We're doing the record with Sub Pop again.
Right.
We renewed our deal with them, which is amazing. And it's just it's like to get all the promo and the press and the art and the pressing of the records and the CDs, whatever the hell they do now, that just takes months and months. So, I mean, I don't think this record is going to come out till, quarter 4 or something. I don't even.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.